There we go. There's our center line, ready to go. Yo, Rage. What's happening, Rage, my brother? Good to see you. Welcome on in. Happy New Year, if I haven't seen you already. I agree with you on that. I also think the finish of the body when the guitar is done will need sealer or nothing else. When the guitar is done, all it needs is sealer and nothing else. Oh, okay. You're having a conversation. Let me go back and see what that's all about. Just thinking that... Krillin, what's happening? Guitar body's cool. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So that is that's got 3 coats of oil on there. That's all it needs. We're going to leave it like that. We're not going to touch that beautiful bronze cedar color. It contrasts quite nicely, and as you said, that elbow cutaway is quite a feature on that. It's lovely. Okay, now we can put this guy away, and we can work on the other Bidoobie whacker, as they call it, the Bidoobie whacker. That's the technical term for an uncut neck. I need a template. Okay, 25.5-inch scale template. Here it is. We have a center line down this guy as well. That's it there. Going to bring that forward so we can save some of that scrap at the back. You'll get a lot more scrap at the back if we do it that way. So all I'm going to do is measure out this end first, and I'm going to split that 29 millimeters either side to get that extra little 1/16 of an inch on each side there. Just lining that center line up with the center line of the body, of the neck, sorry, I should say. So the template is going over the top of. This is a 25.5-inch scale. Get in there. Got to be precise. That's bang on. It just fits on there nicely. Okay, let's grab a pencil. Let's do the headstock. That's the nut slot right there. Okay. That's the right place. Let me just double check that with another template. I always overlay templates to make sure that there hasn't been any mods or anything that I've forgotten about with some of these templates. So I generally get this one and lay this over the top because it's got the fretboard layout. Sorry, let me grab this template and use that one to validate what I'm doing. So this has actually got the fretwork as well. And if we lay that over the top, it will confirm. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the nut is in the right place. That's the important thing. And that 22nd fret goes to the end of the board. That's okay. We don't have to worry about that. We're going to work all that out in a second. So that nut is important. It's in the right place from a fret perspective. So we know that's our starting reference. The scale's going to be fine. Let's put that away. We want to draw a line across there. Mark that slot. That's the back of the slot. In other words, 0 fret. There it is. 0. Measure that. And then we'll cut the taper in now. Once we mark out the taper, then we can do the truss rod and all that other jazz. That is 44. Perfect. Spot on. So 22 each way. Yep, good. So that's fine. The back. So let's work this down here. What I need to do is measure the neck against this template and make sure I haven't shortened or lengthened any of the scale or the frets, I should say. Yeah, it is this one. So that's great. It is this one. So that's going to be the length we want. Because the bridge is already fixed. So we've got to make it exactly the same size to get the scale length right. That's perfect. Good. So we do use this one for the length. Okay. There'll be a little overhang as well, which is fine. And we've allowed for that there. So pop this guy down. Center. Mark the back, then we'll work on the width and get the taper. So here's the back of our board. Sorry, the back of our neck. Our board, same thing. There's going to be a little overhang, but that's fine. I'm probably going to give it a little bit more, another 1/4 inch or so, because we can always trim that back. So I'm going to give it maybe 1/2 inch more. It doesn't really matter because we're not fretting past a certain point. We're going to work from the nut end anyway. But that gives us more than enough length to modify and adjust that and fit it correctly to match that bridge. Okay, we know that's our starting point. We know where it's going to end. 25.5 inches further down will be the bridge. So that's good to go. Now we get the taper. 29 millimeters on either side because we're talking about 58 at the back of the heel. Quite a wide neck, a little bit wider than normal. 29 is right there. We'll work, okay, it's got to be at the 22nd fret. We're going to mark that off. 58 is there. Perfect, that's good. And now we join those two. Grab our straight edge. Start at the point of the 0 fret. Get that taper spot on. One side. Done. There's our neck profile. Okay, now we'll grab our scale and just do a couple of preliminary checks. 25.5, make sure I get the right one. Doofus, there it is there, 25.5. We're gonna lay that die down there. Let me just get this camera up a little bit higher. Just a touch higher. Terry's not watching because she'll get vertigo. Okay. it's locked up. Let me just restart that. There we go. Now you can see the whole neck. Good. Okay, double checking scales and things. Perfect. 24 frets is here. We're only doing 22, which is right there. And there's the overhang, which is where I expected it. So I will cut it off longer and then trim it back down to there. We've got enough overhead to speak of, as we say. Okay, cool. That's all marked out and good to go. We've got the right scale length. There's our fretboard. There's excessive fretboard. Now, this is already thicknessed. We want to get the colors right. We want the dark skies, as they call it, on this side. So there's our sand, if that desert sandscape. Okay, and that works. There's our landscape, and that's the sky there. Okay, we're going to use a couple of inlays to mark the 12th. There's probably going to be a bird of prey, like an eagle or a hawk or something flying in on that 12th space, and we're going to use markers elsewhere on that. Standard markers, but we want a 12th, we want to feature a 12th fret marker, a little bit of inlay work. So that's the guy there. Okay, so there's our neck. Ground, sky, a little bit of a sunrise thing happening there, or here. It's a little bit of color. So when you look at the neck that way, is what you're going to see. All right. Okay. This ebony is African ebony. No, sorry, I lie. This ebony is Asian. It's Indonesian from a plantation. It's got lots and lots of light stuff, but not too light. It's a blonde. It's from Indonesia, though. This is a stock. We can't get Madagascan stuff anymore. It's been banned. So, yeah, I can't actually import that stuff in, and neither can my suppliers. I'm sure you can find it, but I don't know how legit it is. So they might claim it is, but there's no way of really knowing unless you know the supplier and know exactly what the stock is looking like. There was a site recently, there was an eBay sale I noticed recently of, I think 100 fretboards from one ebony tree. It was a massive thing. And they had a pallet full of fretboards like this, and all mostly dark, but some of them had some lighter colors. And I think it was going for about $4,000. I think it was going for about $4,000. $40 a fretboard, that works out to, which is reasonably cheap when you're buying bulk, I guess, because it's cheap to get a $40 fretboard. They're usually around 50 to 60 if you buy them individually. Did they overkill the Madagascar supply? Potentially, Tom. It's also a heritage stuff too, like old growth forest. You know, you've got heritage listed forests and stuff that are, and they're cracking down. They're cracking down on a lot of that stuff. So it's like, if you find it on the ground, fine, but I don't think you're allowed to cut them down anymore. So plantations are the way to go, I think, to sustain the industry, because I know in Tasmania, the Blackwood and all the old growth forest in Tasmania is, you know, it's World Heritage listed, those rainforests down there. And I know that a couple of the suppliers that have the claim, it's almost like a gold claim, or a gold or a silver mine claim. You've got to claim the territory, and then you can only harvest what's on the ground. Reclaimed forest, old growth forest they call it. You can only reclaim what's dead on the ground. You know what? It's probably better because it's dry. It's been there for hundreds of years. And good luck getting in there with a truck big enough and safely in and out of that forest. It's pretty dense. So these guys